Here today we're going to be doing a little thread comparison video for you. The first thread I'm going to start with here is going to be UTC 70 denier. Now a lot of people get very picky about their fly tying threads. They all are different. They act differently on your hook and when you're tying. So some tyers get very picky on which one they use. A lot of other people don't even know there's really a difference. So that's what I'm going to show you here today is the difference between the threads. So this is UTC 70 in black. You can see this thread is very flossy and flat. So when I apply it to the hook here with each wrap, you can see that it lies very flat. That's the reason I like it. This is actually one of my favorite threads, is just because it lays so flat, so clean. I tie a lot of very small flies that need very smooth bodies, and this thread is perfect for that. If you are tying a lot of jujubes or jujubatus where you need a smooth body to apply a material, then UTC is the thread for you. So I'll go ahead and just whip finish this one off here, and we'll go to our next thread. So the next thread will also be UTC, but it'll be the next size up. We'll take a look here at the 140, which is very similar to a, let's say, 6/0 diameter. It's good for streamers, larger nymphs, larger dries. This is a thread that I use a lot on my saltwater flies as well, and my carp flies. Get it threaded here in the bobbin. Now this thread, it's rated in denier, so it's 140. It'll be twice as thick as the 70. So it'll build up twice as fast. You can see just with a couple of wraps, we're up to basically the same thickness as the little bump I built with 70. But this is also a flat thread, so you can see it's nice and flossy, nice and webby, nice and strong. I mean, you can really tug on this thread. You can see I'm moving the hook with it. Nice strong thread, that's why it's good for your larger flies, but builds up a little bit faster than your UTC 70. Go ahead and whip finish. Now the next thread we'll take a look at here is going to be UNI thread. This is probably one of the most popular threads out there. It's been around it's been the most popular, longest standing thread, I'd say, on the market. A lot of fly tyers prefer it. It is a UNI style thread though, hence the name UNI, which means it's more of a woven kind of cord rather than a flossy flat thread. So guys who don't like flossy threads and have maybe, let's say, rough fingers, rough hands, and the floss really gets roughed up very easily, then they'll probably prefer the UNI. Most dry fly fishermen and classic fly tyers prefer the UNI. It's what they've used for years. I'll go ahead and start off. Now this is 8/0. Now if you can see, as I'm wrapping it, each wrap does not flatten out whatsoever. So it's a very bumpy thread, but it is, I would say, a little bit stronger just because it doesn't really fray. So if you nick a hook point, it won't fray. It'll either break or it'll stay in one piece. Where the UTC 70, if you nick something just barely and you lose a few of those little fibers, it greatly weakens the thread. So that's why a lot of people prefer the UNI, but you can see here under magnification how bumpy and round it is, and that is the reason for me personally why I don't really like it. I like the flat, flossy thread. But it's all preference. It's what I'm used to. So now that was 8/0. We'll take a look at some 6/0 here. See the difference? We'll use the same color. This is a light Cahill color. Now even though this 8/0 is very similar to diameter of the 70, it builds up a little bit quicker because it's not flossy. It won't lay flat. So it does build up just a little bit faster. There's another good look at how round it is, how it's kind of, I call it more like a monocord. It's all woven together. Doesn't really flatten out. But you can see the 6/0. I mean, it's not going to be as thick as your UTC 140. It's kind of an in-between. It's not 140 denier. I think it's a little bit thinner than that. So it's not going to build up quite as fast as the 140. It's also not probably quite as strong, but it is a little thicker than the 8/0. This is good for flies that are, let's say, 14, 12, and up. The 8/0 I would use in 18s and below, and 16 you could probably use either of them. Go ahead and whip finish there. And the next thread I'm going to pull out is going to be a little bit newer thread, at least on the US market. It's called Veevus. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. And this thread is a bit of a blend. It lays mostly flat, but it is woven. It's just not woven quite as much as the UNI. So it will flatten out a little bit. So you can see here, you can still see individual wraps, just barely, but it does flatten out. And that's probably because when it's woven, it's just not woven as tight or twisted as tight. And this is the 8/0 version of it. The 8/0 seems to be about the same size as the UNI. I would say it's either the same size or maybe slightly thicker. It's definitely not thinner than the UNI, but it's very close. But the difference is it is semi-flat. So this is a hot new thread on the market. A lot of people like the Veevus because it's kind of a hybrid thread. It's in between a monochord and a flossy thread. So that's the Veevus 8/0, and the 6/0 is basically the same. I'm not gonna demo that. I think we've kind of gotten the gist of it. The last thread I'm going to show you is another thread that I do use fairly often on my really small flies, and that's the UNI Trico thread. And this is 17/0, very thin stuff. Now, even though it's UNI, it is not a monochord like the other UNI threads are. This is a flossy little thread, very delicate. But it's actually, I would say, fairly strong for being 17/0. Only comes in white, but you can see very flat, very flossy thread. Can't even really see it on my hook there. A lot of realistic tires use this thread. A lot of midge fishermen use this thread. You can see how thin and flossy it is. I really like this thread. I do use it fairly often on my little midges, even though it's white. You can color it with a marker. But you can see here I can just keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping, and I'm not even close to the size of the lump with 8/0. So very cool little thread, and I mean it's really pretty strong stuff as long as you don't nick it or fray it with your hands. And that's the UNI Trico thread. And you can buy all these threads on our website, intheriffle.com, and give them all a try. And that is a just quick little thread comparison video for you. We have UTC 70, and we have UTC 140, UNI 8/0, UNI 6/0, Veevus 8/0, and then UNI Trico 17/0. Thanks for watching.